one of the most important things you can do for your streaming platform presence is to get people to follow you, especially like on Spotify, because it tells the algorithm who likes your kind of music and who's bought in enough that they're following, paying attention to their fans. So we have a great tool at our marketing platform, show.co, which is free. If you have a CD Baby account, there's a link right on your dashboard. You can get it for free. But basically, it has a thing in there. You can make a follow campaign. The one on screen is the one I did where it says, hear the song that got us kicked off the stage. And so in order to hear the track, they had to follow us on Spotify or leave their email. So really the tip here is not only with follow campaigns or any campaign, is really trying to find a hook that's going to have a payoff for your fan or the potential fan. Most people aren't interested in like, hey, I've got a new song, click this button. It's like, give them something intriguing, give them a story element, something that's going to make them need to close that loop and find out what did they do to get kicked off the stage. Now I got to push this button.
Yeah, that might be my all-time favorite call to action. Good job.
And lastly, in this section is say thanks. So many people never say thank you. And I can't tell you how many times in the history of my band, Small Town Poets, where our manager back in the day, after everything, he would send us a stack of thank you notes in like, for the week of things we did. And we'd fill them out, write a special note. And we got so many extra gigs and opportunities just because people were blown away that the band actually sent them a note and said thank you. So many people said no one's ever done that before.
Gratitude is revolutionary.
There are some great apps out there now that make this where all you got to do is put in the message, the person's address, and they'll ship them a nice custom card that you can create in the app and say thanks. So make it happen.
This one I'll take. It's a very bizarre picture of like a
Coffee
or a coffee mug or a teacup with a spoon that are all made out of fur, which is just some modern art thing. Anyways, this is a ridiculous picture to say, kind of similar to what Kevin was saying, just getting back to the basics of human connection. Take someone out to coffee. It's sort of like saying thanks, but it could be in the context of, hey, I'm curious about your music, or how do I get a gig at your venue, or whatever it is. You need something, but it doesn't have to always come in the context of, hey, I need something. Give them some benefit too, because I've found, like, working at CD Baby, whenever I've had a chance to sort of be in a mentorship role, I am the presumed expert, but I always learn something from helping someone else because they might have a perspective, a question that makes me think about something differently. So don't be afraid to take people out to coffee.
Yes.
Here's a simple one, which you've done a lot.
Yeah. So a simple tip for getting gigs is check out all the calendars for the venues in your area or an area where you'd like to be playing, and look for opportunities. The thing that was something I did with my band Hello Morning here in Portland is I would look at the calendar and seems like, oh, that band we'd be perfect opener for that band, and it looks like there's no opener listed for this show. Let me ask. And several times that landed us a great opening slot because we were a good fit to open for that band, and they didn't have an opener lined up yet. Oftentimes it was just making sure that I was pitching to them, knowing that they had a hole in their calendar, and that helped them out because they've got a problem to solve. They got to get shows booked. They need to fill a schedule. So that can help you out a lot. So you're not wasting their time around dates that they already have shows, and really just kind of get to the point. So check out those calendars. Sometimes they don't keep them up to date. That's the frustrating thing. And don't forget, in real life, have some actual concert posters. I have a thing about concert posters. I love them. I love the whole like the real poster. What is it? Flat stock is the thing that tours around with all the handmade posters, screen printed. I love that stuff. That can add some visual interest and just really, I think those are great things that you can put in the real world. Go to the venue, get places around the venue that will hang posters and put those out there. I think it's not going to bring thousands of people to your show, but it is some reinforcement visually, and also creates a vibe for you as an artist and your music.
Yeah, I put the picture that's on screen as one of those depressing telephone poles. It's just littered with like torn posters. So At the very least, print up some nice ones and deliver them to the venue because I think we forget about the in real life aspect of promotion when we live so much online.
Yeah, and even asking what the venue's doing, because sometimes they might automatically print a poster, other times they may not, and but they'll take your poster and promote it. So worth doing.
This one is pretty simple to do, harder to stick to once you've done it, is to write the word merch on your set list. Keep it as sacred as a song that you put on your set list because adrenaline kicks in. We're either like feeling bashful or like just so excited that we either forget or decide not to plug our merch. You all know the feeling. Oh, no one's gonna buy it anyway. So I'm not. No, write
Don't
it on
do
a
that.
set list and keep it sacred and have a story to tell that makes a connection and then tie it in with why people need to go and meet you at the merch booth after or go right now and buy the CD or whatever it is. Kind of have that written down in advance and even practice it in your set. And, it can be bullet points. You don't have to memorize a script, but keep merch sacred.
Yeah, local radio. We don't talk about radio much anymore on the podcast just because I think there's much better ways to spend your money. But local radio can still be an opportunity. And there does seem to be some resurgence in local radio, and it may vary depending on where you live. But that's something to always consider. It's not going to be massive, powerful stations, but there could be potentially multiple opportunities for you, whether it's to curate a whole show or to just play on air or get interviewed. Just get creative. Check out what's going on in your scene with local radio, and those opportunities are much easier. And if anything, they make great content pieces
Yep.
because sometimes the photo of you sitting in a radio station talking on a microphone or playing on a microphone tells a much bigger story.
And get seen by more people than are
To
listening.
get see, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and they're like, "Oh, you're live on air. Wow, that's impressive." Um,
Yeah. So these would be specifically three things like local community radio, college
yes,
radio,
colleges.
or potentially maybe even one of those big FM stations if they have like a local hour or something. Like in my town, I think it's every Sunday night, there's like a local hour or two.
Yes, yes. Oftentimes, we don't give our fans proper instruction. Like, we just assume they know everything. Like, they've seen TikTok, so they assume that they can throw your music in videos. But they may not realize that. So, oftentimes, just say, "This is how you can add our songs to your Instagram reels or TikTok videos," highlighting that fact. Make a reel about how to do it. But oftentimes, we just don't give fans adequate instruction on how they can help or permission to do things or the ideas, so they go and run with them. So it's an important thing to remember.
This one is just about swapping contacts. So, probably over your life as a musician, whether that's been a year or 20 years, you've probably built up some venue contacts, or maybe you have a spreadsheet with playlists or third party playlisters, like we talked about. Any industry contacts you have, you continue to benefit from those relationships, but so can another artist. And so, if let's say you have a great venue list of West Coast clubs and the talent buyer for each of them, and someone else has the equivalent of the East Coast, and you're going to start doing tours, swap contact lists. Same thing goes for playlists. If there's another artist in your genre that's found their own playlist they've had success with, swap your contacts for that too. And it's just about expanding your network.